Hi guys, this is Hurricane and I produced W for Seedhe Maut which dropped recently, and a lot of producers been telling me to make a tutorial on how I make my beats. So I thought I'll break this beat down just so y'all can have an insight into my process and how I make my stuff. So yeah, let's just get into it. So basically I started out with this sample, and if we switch off all the processing, it basically sounds like this. Yeah, so I added like a EQ to it, which cuts off all the high and low frequencies, and there's this narrow band playing. And also the sample, I chopped it up like this. Yeah, so that's this main sample chop, and there's another sample which sounds like this without any processing. So I'm just using this small section of the sample like a box. Yeah, so there's obviously the EQ, which is on the melodic bus, and and I added a bunch of effects. There's Echo Boy for some sustain and transient processing and fruity reverb. So yeah, so all that basically sounds like this. Yeah, so that with the sample chop. Yeah, so the next thing which I added was the bass. And the bass really gives context to all the sample chops. Like it puts them in a perspective. So the bass is from Analog Lab, and it's this two oscillator bass preset. And I just added some RC20 to it. So the bass line sounds like this. So along with the bass, if we play the sample chops, it sounds like this. So after that, I added some more melody layers. So the first one is like a flute from Mellotron, which is an Arturia plugin, and it sounds like this. And there's another texture which is like a pad, and it only plays one note, and it sounds like this. And it stays the same except for some parts in the beat where I pitched it down an octave just for some variation. Yeah, so there's another sound which is this sequence from art, and it basically sounds like this. So it's just additional texture just for some parts, and after that basically these are all the melodic components. And in the second, like the last hook, there's this guitar lead which I found from Slice, and it sounds like this basically. and I added some RC20 just to make it more wide. And pitched it up in the second section. Yeah, so basically that's all the melodies. So that the whole thing sounds like this. Yeah, so there's another sound which is this forest ambience thing, which is really in the background. You can barely hear it, but it just adds some more texture. Yeah. So now moving on to the drums, right? So the drums are really simple. Like there's basically just 4 drum sounds: the kick, hi-hat, open hat, and this. So all these sounds have volume automation just to make them more dynamic. Like the hi-hat has it every alternate hi-hat, and the snare has a automation on the accent snares just to make it more like rhythmic, I guess. And also I shifted the hi-hats slightly off the grid so that they don't clash with the kick and snare samples, and for some more swing to the rhythm. So yeah, so the drums sound like this basically. So the drums also have some processing to them. So there's RC20, which I use for adding some wideness and some flanging. Like it's very slight, the flanging, and some distortion and some reverb. Yeah, and there's an EQ to cut off the harsh frequencies. And I added this limiter, and I used this to add some crunch to the drum sounds. So without the processing, the drums basically sound like this. And with it, also I routed the kick to the samples for some side chaining. And yeah, basically that's the beat. And if we play everything together, it sounds like this. After that, I just added and took some things out just to structure the beat. And yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you want me to do more of these beat breakdowns. I really enjoyed making this. Yeah, and W is out now. Go bump that shit. Peace.
Tiani fucking I made it rapping चीजों पे लिखा कि made in Paris अलग ही कटा ये piece of fabric यार थे couple of beat assassins हाँ चलेगा तेरा जब गीत हम napping you been a fan अभी तू क्या दे challenge